Here we are again, how to watch the MCU in order, literally a month apart from the last time I did a video like this, and in just one movie and in one TV show on Disney Plus, so many things have to be added now. Ridiculous. Let's unlock Disney and Marvel. Here we are again, doing another video about how to watch the MCU in the perfect order. So the last video I made, by the way, thank you for all the love on that. So many views and comments and likes. I really appreciate that. And because of the feedback I got from that, it made me want to do another one, because I did that video literally the day before I went and saw the premiere of Spiderman No Way Home, and also just before the last episode of Hawkeye. And again, spoiler free. I don't want to give spoilers out. But those two things changed some things, brought some things into the MCU that were not technically canon before. So we're going to add that. So I'm going to add what may be brought in now because of that movie and because of Hawkeye. I'm also going to add in Agent Carter, because it's not technically canon, but it does flow in nicely with the MCU. And also, I'm going to throw in S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm not going to break down a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. during the video, but I am going to put it all in the description, because S.H.I.E.L.D. did follow the MCU early on and then just kind of jumped ship because of writing reasons and stuff like that. So I'm going to add Agent Carter, I'm going to add all of the Netflix shows, and I'm going to add Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Again, they're not 100% canon, but because of things that have happened in Spider-Man No Way Home and in Hawkeye, the Netflix series may be added now. I mean, it would make sense. I'm not going to be adding in stuff like the Inhumans and things that I'm pretty sure will never be considered canon for the MCU, because Inhumans was bad. Oh, I'm sure that'll just be a total reboot when they bring that back. Here's the order, the perfect order to watch the MCU with a little additions in there. All right, let's get started. Iron Man. Iron Man is what started it all. Quick story, I was a comic book geek as a kid, so when I heard that Iron Man was going to be a movie, I went nuts. And just let it be known, Iron Man was not a known character when they were making the movie. Like, he wasn't Spider-Man or anything like that. But as a kid, he was one of my guys. So Iron Man is just what starts everything off with the MCU. And Robert Downey Jr. is just gold. They could not have built the MCU off of a better actor. Next we have the Hulk. So the Hulk, I think, is a great movie. The problem is that Edward Norton was in it, and then he got recasted afterwards because Edward Norton wanted all kinds of writing credit and wanted to do all kinds of... It was like, just stop it. Stop. So Hulk was the second movie, and there's a weird thing because it's actually owned by Universal, but it was still a part of the MCU, and there's actually future things that Hulk can only be in movies, but he can't have a solo movie. Otherwise, it'll be owned by Universal and not Disney. It's a weird thing. But Hulk in itself, I really thought was a pretty good movie. A lot of people tend to skip this because of the recasting when they go through and watch all the movies again. I say do not skip this movie. Watch the movie, because even now in the Marvel Universe, there's connective tissue to this movie. Next, we have Iron Man 2. So Iron Man 2 picks up right at the end of Iron Man 1. Iron Man 2 is probably my least favorite Marvel movie, but it's like saying, who's your least favorite kid? It's still a great movie, but it's kind of my least favorite, but it's still pretty awesome. I think that makes sense, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, you hear the thunder. So Thor Now Thor enters the MCU. Thor, awesome movie. Funny as a kid. I couldn't stand Thor in the comics. And even when the movie started, I wasn't a big Thor fan, but his arc is pretty good. Pretty good. That's as much of a spoiler as I'm giving.
His fate is in his own hands now.
Next, we have Marvel's Golden Boy, Captain America. So, if we were to be putting all these movies in order as far as time, half of this movie would be the first movie to watch, but that's not what we're doing. This is definitely the best order that I'm giving you to watch all these in. So anyway, Captain America, awesome. He's really like the golden boy of the MCU. You know, the all-American, I'll fight for everybody, fight for freedom kind of guy.
What made to you so special? Nothing. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
Here's where I would put Agent Carter, season 1 and 2. I'd watch it right after Captain America. Again, this is technically not MCU because, as I've mentioned before in the other video, Kevin Feige, when he took over all of Marvel, when he took over the TV part of Marvel, he kind of said anything that he wasn't a part of isn't technically canon. So, however, Agent Carter, I am going to put here. It is a good watch. You can skip it if you want. It's not critical to the MCU, but it does coincide with it. So this would be a great spot to watch Agent Carter season 1 and 2.
Not bad. What a girl.
Hate you all.
So the 6th movie in the MCU, The Avengers. This is the movie that kind of really changed the way movies are put together. This had never been done before. It just didn't make sense to put all these different movies and have them all connected. And Avengers did it brilliantly. So this was really the first time all the heroes get together, but it is not going to be the last time.
Dr. Banner, your work is unparalleled, and I'm a huge fan of the way you lose control and turn into an enormous green rage monster.
Thanks.
Our first movie after The Avengers is Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 critically was looked down upon, but I think as time has gone on, people have liked it a lot more. I really like it. It's probably my favorite Iron Man movie, so there's that.
Ladies, children, sheep. Some people call me a terrorist. I consider myself a teacher. Lesson number 1. Heroes. There is no such thing.
Alright, after Iron Man 3, this is where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show, comes into play. As I was saying at the beginning, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not 100% part of the MCU, or not canon to it. However, S.H.I.E.L.D. is awesome. I love S.H.I.E.L.D. Loved it. All 7 seasons of it. There's 7 seasons. There are some dry spots where you're just kind of like, meh, but then it picks back up and everything is forgiven. So I'm not going to break up this video over and over again as to when you should watch each season of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I will put it in the description. As I was saying, S.H.I.E.L.D., not 100% MCU, but it does follow the movies all the way up until like season 5. After that, it kind of goes off on its own because the writers of S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't know how Endgame was going to happen, so they kind of just did their own thing. But for the first like 5 seasons, it goes right along with every single movie that comes out. So, again, a really fun watch. I'm a big fan of it. But if you don't like it after watching a couple episodes, totally skip it and just move on with the list.
Can stop us in the... Hey.
Next, we have Thor 2, Thor the Dark World. Thor the Dark World, I feel like I'm saying a few times now, like, this isn't the best movie in the MCU. Iron Man 2, Thor 2 are probably my 2 least favorite. But like I said before, it's like your two least favorite kids. There's no such thing, right? So it's still a great movie. And I promise you, there is no other movie all the way through here where I will say, this movie was except for one much later on. I promise. The newest installment up to date of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So Guardians of the Galaxy have not been brought up yet in the MCU, and they're kind of off in space, kind of opens up some new doors in the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, after Guardians of the Galaxy 1, you actually could just watch the second one because they don't really connect yet to the other MCU movies. So it's, whatever you want to do. But I would just watch the first one right now and watch the second one a little later. Moving on to our 10th movie, I believe. Captain America 2. Captain America the Winter Soldier. Crazy good movie. So stinking good. And as I've been saying, this is spoiler free, so I'm not getting into any detail. But Captain America the Winter Soldier, a great movie. Also a great movie that can stand alone outside of the MCU. It's good. That's all I got.
Keep both eyes open. Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
And it looks like it's time to bring the team back together. We have Avengers Age of Ultron. So this is the second Avengers movie. And again, awesome. And this is another one of those movies that was not looked at as great at the time, but over time it really connects a lot of the future of the MCU, and I like it. I like it a lot. Marvel now introduces Ant-Man. Ant-Man's played by Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is hilarious. Love that guy. And it's kind of Marvel's first kind of action comedy. So it's taken another spin. The MCU really grows throughout all these movies. So, they're going to take a little shot at action comedy. Or comedy action. However you prefer to say it.
Scott, I've been watching you for a while. You're different. And I believe everyone deserves a shot at redemption. Do you?
Absolutely. My days of breaking into places and stealing stuff are over. What do you want me to do?
I want you to break into a place and steal some stuff.
Makes sense.
After Ant-Man is where we can jump into some more Netflix stuff. Jessica Jones Season 1, Luke Cage Season 1, and Daredevil Season 2 can all be put here. Like I said, the exact order of everything's going to be down in the description. So Jessica Jones, I thought was okay. It didn't hit me like the critics said that it was amazing. I thought it was okay. It was pretty good. Especially the first season was good. The other two, I was like, eh. Luke Cage, I thought was really good. I enjoyed that. Again, all of the Netflix series are TV mature. So I just want to reiterate that. They are TV mature. They are written well. But there's some violence. There's some stuff going on, okay? But so right here, after Ant-Man is where you would throw in Jessica Jones Season 1, Daredevil Season 2, and Luke Cage Season 1. Next, we have the third installment of Captain America. It's Captain America Civil War. A lot of people like to call this Avengers 2.5 because there's a lot of people in this movie. But it's Captain America Civil War, the third Captain America.
Final warning.
I could do this all day.
All right, I've run out of patience. On to roost!
Hey everyone.
All right, after Civil War, we jump into a bunch more Netflix stuff. So first we have Iron Fist Season 1. I enjoyed Iron Fist. I enjoyed it. People look at it as the worst of all the Netflix shows, but I enjoyed it. But what comes after Iron Fist Season 1 is Defenders. So Defenders is all of the Netflix characters all together, kind of like a mini Avengers type thing. And that was really put together well. Very much enjoyed that. Then after Defenders, we're going to jump into Punisher. So that rounds out everything Netflix as far as all the characters. Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and The Punisher. And as I'm going to say again, it's Netflix, it's TV mature. But this is where those shows would fall in line with the MCU. Next we have Doctor Strange. So a few of these movies now are going to be mixed up a little bit opposed to what their theatrical release was, just for watching reasons. But Doctor Strange, really good. This is his first movie. And you also, before Doctor Strange, you could watch the Black Widow movie because as far as a timeline, it goes there. But I would wait for Black Widow.
I've spent so many years peering through time, looking for you.
What's this, my mantra? It's the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages.
So now we have Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. I know I said before that you could watch it a little earlier. You can, but this is where it would fall in pretty nicely. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, again, is a lot of fun.
Does anybody have any tape out there? I want to put some tape over the death button. Nobody has any tape. Not a single person has tape.
You have an atomic bomb in your bag. If anybody's gonna have tape, it's you.
I have to do everything.
You are wasting a lot of time.
That's a really bad sign.
And now we have Spider-Man with his first MCU movie. Spider-Man is just about everybody's favorite. Spider-Man's awesome, and now he's in the MCU. It was a really weird thing. If you don't know, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. You remember all the old Spider-Man movies. So Disney couldn't use Spider-Man in a Marvel movie, even though Spider-Man is a Marvel character. It's all kinds of contract stuff. But Sony and Disney worked out a deal, and Disney was allowed to use Sony's Spider-Man. And they're still working nicely today. So it's a nice little thing that they got going. I don't even care what the deal is. I'm just glad that Spider-Man is in the MCU, and it looks like he's going to be in the MCU for a very long time. After watching Spider-Man, I would head over to Black Panther. Black Panther is just an epic movie. It's so good and ties into everything so nicely. But Black Panther is another movie that, even if you weren't following all the Marvel movies, it's a movie that can stand on its own because it's that good. We now have Ant-Man back for his second movie, and it's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Here's where things get kind of tricky. So every Marvel movie, as you have seen, has a post-credit or two, end of the movie credit scenes. Ant-Man and the Wasp also has an after-credit scene. Do not watch it. If you're following the movies in this order, don't watch the after-credit scene yet, because this movie fell in a weird time when they released it, and that post-credit scene will give away something in a future movie. So don't watch the post-credit scene of this movie, but watch Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I was partners with Hank on a project called Goliath.
How big did you get?
My record, 21 feet. You?
65 feet.
65.
If you two are finished comparing sizes...
65.
We are now up to movie 20. So another thing I'm kind of moving out of place. Our 20th movie is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel technically doesn't come out for a little bit later than this, but it's a prequel, and I would say to watch it here because you do not want to mess up what I call like the trinity of MCU movies that are coming up after this. So Captain Marvel, I wasn't that big on. I mean, as I've watched it a few more times, I've liked it more and more as I've watched it. But I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. But again, it's still really good.
I'm not what you think I am.
For our next movie, and when I was saying like the holy trinity of MCU movies, Thor Ragnarok, Thor 3 goes right into Avengers Infinity War. Infinity War goes right into Avengers Endgame. So I love to keep these three movies back to back to back. Thor Ragnarok is hilarious and yet action filled. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's probably my favorite one to watch because it's fun. It's just a lot of fun.
We're the same, you and I. Just a couple of hot-headed fools.
Yeah, same. Hulk like fire, Thor like water.
Well, kind of both like fire.
But Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire.
We now get to Avengers Infinity War. So, I'm sure you've heard, if you haven't watched these movies, you've heard of Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War goes right into Avengers Endgame. These are the two, I would easily say the two biggest money-making movies in the MCU, but just put together, they are both amazing, amazing movies. It starts with Avengers Infinity War, and then we'll hit up Endgame.
Evacuate the city. Engage all defenses. And get this man a shield.
Fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe. But this does put a smile on my face.
Next, we have Avengers Endgame. Endgame is the pinnacle of the MCU. This movie is so good that at the end of it, I'm just like, I don't know where you go from here. And they went pretty far from there, but Endgame is just amazing. Amazing. And also real fast, earlier when I said you couldn't watch the Ant-Man and Wasp post-credit, you can watch it before watching this movie. So, Avengers Endgame, just perfect movie. A perfect movie.
This is the fight of our lives.
This is gonna work, Steve.
I know it is. Because I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't.
Everybody's favorite wall crawler is back. And for his second movie in the MCU, we have Spider-Man Far From Home. This movie also kicks butt. And it's also the first view we get of everything after Endgame. Again, there's no spoilers in this video, so I'm not going to talk about anything. But after Endgame, people wonder where are all the movies going to go, and it just keeps going up. Great movie, Spider-Man Far From Home.
You going to step up or not?
All right, we're 25 movies in. Next, we have Black Widow. So Black Widow is really a prequel. Most of the movie picks up after Captain America Civil War, so that's also a place you can watch it. But right here is a good spot to watch it. So Black Widow, pretty cool. Finally getting her own movie, and she deserves it. We have now reached the part of the MCU where Disney Plus starts getting involved. So Marvel started making TV shows on Disney Plus, and they all tie in to all the movies. So it's all one big happy family. And WandaVision is the first installment on Disney Plus, and it did not disappoint. WandaVision to me is so good. So good. A lot of people didn't like it at first. It takes a couple episodes to get into, but man, is it good.
We are an unusual couple, you know.
Oh, I don't think that was ever in question.
After WandaVision, we now jump into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, another Disney Plus show that ties into the MCU canon. And parts of it, really solid. Other parts of it, I was like, I mean, it's worth a watch, but it's probably my least of all the Disney Plus shows.
Hello, girl, kick your ass.
Next, we have another Disney Plus show, and it's Loki. Loki's just dope. I mean, Loki is so good, and this show is great and really kind of changes the way the MCU is going to be from this moment on. Loki, well worth a watch.
You could possibly manipulate me. I'm 10 steps ahead of you.
You're not big on trust, are you?
Next up, we have Shang Chi. So Shang Chi is a movie that I kind of went into thinking it'll be like, whatever. It's MCU, so it's going to be good. But I kind of had my doubts. And you know what? My doubts were dumb to have because it was really good. Really, really good. Shang Chi is really good. I hope you like my in-depth review there. So now we're up to The Eternals. The Eternals is a movie that is kind of a prequel to everything in the world. So if you've gone through all of the MCU and you want to start over again but do it like chronologically, this would be the one you start with. But definitely don't start with this one. All right, guys. So Disney Plus hits us with another installment, Hawkeye. Everybody's favorite man with a bow and arrow gets his own show on Disney Plus, and it takes place during Christmas time. I am currently halfway through it because at the time of making this video, we still have 2 more episodes to go, and so far, it's not disappointing. It's pretty awesome.
This is too dangerous. Definitely not this one.
You don't have to say definitely like that. Holy shit! There are arrows more dangerous than that one?
And finally, the movie, which is the reason why I had to make yet another how to watch the MCU in a perfect order, Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie, again, spoiler free, freaking amazing. Everything a fan wants, everything a moviegoer wants, it is everything. It is great. Now, I would say, obviously, in the trailer, you see that there's villains from the Sony movie, old Sony Spider-Man movies. So I would say before watching this, watch Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, the Tobey Mcguire ones, and then watch the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies 1 and 2. None of them are part of the MCU, but you have to watch those to understand the villains in this movie. There's other things that go on, but I'm not going to talk about it. Just go watch those movies, and then watch this movie. This movie is just so good. So good.
You're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
All right, guys, that brings us to now. So that's 32 installments in the MCU. 32. That's 28 movies and 4 shows. That's just silly. but it's so great. It blows my mind that Marvel was able to put this together, that all these star actors would come together and continually reprise roles over and over, and that we would have something this massive. So that's up to date. Now, the future of the MCU looks amazing also. There's still more Disney Plus shows come. I'll just throw in a few. So we have Moon Knight coming. Moon Knight, pretty awesome comic book when I was a kid. A little dark, a little crazy, but cool. And then we also have She-Hulk coming. In the comics, She-Hulk is actually Bruce Banner's cousin. So that looks like a lot of fun. We have Miss Marvel. There is going to be the next Doctor Strange movie, another Thor movie, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, just so much stuff. Another Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania. Fantastic Four is now back with Marvel because the MCU got the rights, so we're going to get the MCU's version of Fantastic Four. Hopefully it's better than everything that they've done before. And we haven't even gotten into the X-Men because the MCU, Marvel, and Disney now own the movie rights to the X-Men again. And as a kid, the X-Men were my all-time favorite, so I am beyond giddy to find out what we have with that. All right, guys, I know this video was crazy long, but hopefully it's great for anybody that's wanting to get into the MCU. It's a video that you can pause and come back to as you watch each movie. And the checklist is going to be down below. So I hope it all worked out. And I hope you all have a great and wonderful time watching all these movies. Yeah, that video was just too long.